Well, every Sunday, Pat Sullivan from Sullivan Hardware and Gardening gives us great advice for do-it-yourself home improvements. Today, he's showing us the proper way to plant a hydrangea.
Well, if you've been to the garden center in the last few years, you've probably noticed the explosion of hydrangeas. Everybody wants to plant hydrangeas. And it wasn't just a few years ago. It was pretty basic. There was oak leaf hydrangeas. This is an Annabelle, which is kind of a white snowball. This is still real popular, but kind of lays over when it rains or you get a lot of wind. So the other one that everyone wanted was one called Nico Blue. It's this beautiful blue. That's what everybody wanted. And there was one we sold called Nico Blue, but it really wasn't for our area. It's a Zone 6 plant. It bloomed on old wood, so if we had a tough winter, no blooms. But we kept trying. Only the most experienced gardener. They'd run out, there's the blue hydrangea, but most of us couldn't do it. Well, this was the game changer. This is called Endless Summer. And in this summer, this is part of a family called Macrophyllus, and this blooms on both old and new wood. And what's great about it, it's actually for our zone, from Zone 4, and we're actually Zone 5, Zone 6. So this started it all. Well, from there, it went to all these different hydrangeas. This is one called Enchantress, has little black stems on it that's really cool. So if you want to keep them blue in our area, which is what we all want, everybody wants blue, you have to treat them because the pH of our soil, you have to acidify it. So this is sulfur. Now on the East Coast where they're naturally blue, they put lime on them because they want them pink. Nobody is happy with what they want, what they have, are they? So the key to macrophyllus are, if you're going to trim them, you trim them in August, you water them, fertilize them, and that's when they're setting color for the next year, although some of them will still bloom on new wood. So still a little bit of a challenge. These are not a shade plant. That's what everybody thinks they're a shade plant. If they're not blooming, they still need to have 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Morning sun is perfect. They don't really like the hot afternoon. They kind of droop down. So ideally, a lot of morning sun is what they want. Easier paniculatas. These are the white hydrangeas. There's a little Bobo one that's real popular. It only gets 2.5 to 3 foot tall. One that was real popular, was an award winner, was the Limelight hydrangea, but it got 5 to 7 foot tall. And then there was Quickfire that got that tall as well. Well, everybody has smaller gardens and wants small plants. Well, then boom, they come up with Little Lime and Little Quickfire. So these, easier to do. They get white flowers, will take full sun, so no worries about that. These you'd trim up in the late winter, early spring, but not too late into the spring, because same thing, then you can see how they're starting to set their color, then boom, you cut the color off of them for the season. So late winter, early spring, you can use, there's a holly tone that works really well on hydrangeas. So this is really a great line. So if you're worried about the blue ones, think about getting the white ones. They're going to perform really well for them. You can get a small one. You're going to be happy. You'll be part of the cool kids.
That's all it takes. I think Kelly and I are sold on going to get a hydrangea after the show. I mean, you heard so many different varieties there. It sounds like a great plan for this great weather we have right now, because it's definitely